thanks for watching. I thought tonight what I'd do is just give you a demonstration of our router table, how I put it together, cut and shut it, and then a little bit of a talk about how to do the finger jointing. Okay, keep this for posterity. Okay, so here's our finger jointing table, and what I've done is I've inserted the 4 blocks that I'm going to use for the box, and those 4 blocks are in 2 sets of 2. I'm using a 1/2 inch router bit, and I've got it set up so that the jig, I'll take you in a bit closer, is set up in the position, as you can see, the 2 sets of 2 are offset to each other. Now the secret of this is to get the 2 1/2 inch cuts that your router is going to make completely in place so that they're exactly the same across the 4 boards. So as you can see, just looking straight down, you've got 2 boards set, which will be board 1 and 2, and then the back 2 boards, and they're 1/2 inch or 12.5mm apart. So now what I've done is I've set up the jig so that your 1/2 inch section is dead in line with the bottom carrier that you're going to use to guide once you make your cut. You'll also notice at this level that I've got the router bit set above the table at exactly or a little bit more than just the depth of one piece of the item you're cutting. Now the trick to this next part is once you've made the cut through the 4 boards right across each one of the cuts you're making across the board themselves, you then turn them upside down, end for end. At the same time you also turn the jig upside down. I've marked the jig 1, and I've marked the jig 2. You notice on the jig that we've got a 12.5 on one side, and on the other side is for a 10mm bit. So you must ensure that you use this part of the jig for this same cut. I've got a 12.5mm router bit in place. So you turn it upside down, so it's exactly opposite, placed back down on your jig table, on your router table, and you've turned your pieces upside down, and of course you're going to have to shift them crossways, so that in sitting this way you'll see that this part is 12.5 that way. When you turn it up the other way, you've got to then unclamp it and bring this part 12.5 this way. So you'll have 2 sections the same on both sides, and that'll be a front and a back and a front and a back. So that's how it sits together. Now I just thought I'd show you, this is our dog, but she can't help me because she's deaf. Now this is just a bottom view of how the router sits within the table. As you can see, I've cut the slots out here so the router will sit down inside, and I've also cut it back so that it still supports the router table, but it still lets me slide the finger guide backwards and forwards within the slots. Now I thought long and hard about what I'd do. I brought the Triton workbench, and it's got a saw set up in it. I'm forever going backwards and forwards. I've got a top to sit the router in. So all I did was just used one of the fairly inexpensive tables from Bunnings, cut the top out of the 2 boards that are the supports on the top to fit my router in so I can drop it in and out, and then also I had to cut one of the boards to help the finger joiner slide. But it was as simple as that, about 30 bucks, and now I've got myself a new router table as well. So all well and good, I'll cut these up and I'll show you how they fit together.